Welcome to the Guntersville Grassroots Podcast presented by Rec Lending. It's boating season. If you're in the market for a boat, be sure and check those guys out, reclending.com, and be sure and tell them that we sent you. Here we are a week early. It's almost the last day of April. Tomorrow may be the last day of April. I don't know. We're gonna call this a special broadcast. At the end of our last episode, or in the part of it there, I was talking to Trey. He was getting ready to fish the Castin N Catchin, and I said, Trey, if you win this thing, we got to do another one with you next week. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Well, we are doing it. I have Trey here, but not here because, instead of going to Disney World when he wins a tournament, he's going to the beach. So the way the timing worked out with my schedule and his, we couldn't get together personally before he had to head out of town. But Trey, first off, congratulations. After all your trials and tribulations, I am proud to see you pull off a good one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a little bit past due. I've been waiting on that for about 26 years now. So I finally won me one. I can celebrate a little bit.
Well, you did say, I don't know if it was on the air or just to me, somewhere over when you decided you weren't going to chase the Opens this year, that you might become a pain in the butt on Guntersville. So you got one under your belt. So, we'll see how the rest of that plays out. So
absolutely. Yeah, that was my plan this year. And it's really my plan. I mean, obviously I'm not planning on winning every tournament. That's just unrealistic and I ain't that good. But that was my plan, this year and the upcoming years is I just kind of got tired of the travel and everything. I still love bass fishing more than anything, but I just wanted to stay around the house. Save a little bit of money in travel and hotel rooms and entry fees and things like that. Just fish every benefit tournament. We live on the best lake in the country. There's tournaments to fish every weekend, and they're all very well ran. The Castin N Catchin is just a great tournament. It's for a great cause. I really enjoyed fishing it. I fished it, I think, the last 3 years, and I think we said it last week, but me and my partner, Logan, we were going to have him on today as well, but he's working today and couldn't make it. But we fished it last year and lost by 3 ounces. So this year when I took off of the Opens, I was like, we're going to try to win this one. Now, did I actually think we were going to do it? No, but,
you didn't show up to lose, right?
Goal. Yep. That was the goal, and it happened. So I'm still on cloud 9. I'm just happy it finally happened.
Absolutely. It's I didn't get to fish it. I played anniversary. We had had a 24-year wedding anniversary. Somehow that woman's put up with me that long. Back it was actually Monday, but I told somebody, I said, well, I give her 1 week in a year that I hang out with her till she gets tired of me, and that's normally the case. So then she's like tells me to go fishing or hunting or something like that. So you'll figure that out one day, Trey. You've had the same girlfriend for a few years now. I imagine your future's getting talked about at some point, and one day she's going to look at you and go, would you just shut up and go fishing? So
I guarantee it. That's what the funniest thing that happened after my girlfriend and Logan's wife, Starlin, had come to the weigh-in to watch us weigh in. We had texted them and told them, like, hey, make sure y'all make it up here or whatever. Like, we think we might have a shot to win again. And so they come up there and we got in the truck heading home, or me and Tegan got in her car. I rode with her, and she was like, so, we've been dating 3 years. What do you think you're going to do with that money? And I kind of stopped, and I was like, well, I thought I might buy me a new driver. You ought to seen the look on her face when I said that.
She was envisioning wrapping that driver around your neck.
Yeah, that's exactly the look that she gave me. And I was like, it was a joke. Don't kill me. Don't put me out on the side of the road here. I was just joking.
Yeah, we don't need Trey losing any girlfriends over podcast. That has not happened with me, but I know it has happened.
It has happened. It has happened.
It has happened. Not this one. This one actually likes you. You like her. She's going to keep you around for a minute. So,
yeah, exactly. I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah. So let's talk about your prep for this. I don't remember what day we talked last week. Maybe it was Tuesday. I don't remember. But you had not even really been in a while. But you kind of had an idea what you were going to be doing. So tell me what your practices were like, and just kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, for sure. So when we had done that podcast, I actually hadn't. I don't think I had been on the lake for I really don't know, to be honest. It had been a very long
You've been
time.
in Pickwick, yeah.
I've been enjoying working, at my job. I've been pretty busy, thankfully, and so I just hadn't spent a lot of time out there. I knew I was going to before the tournament, but up into that podcast, I hadn't been out there at all. And after that, Tuesday, I got slid out of work a little early and went that evening and looked around. I mean, it's my favorite time of the year, and I know you know that. But for everybody listening, like I love to catch them offshore. Not so much scoping or nothing like that, but when they get off the bank, they get schooled up in the summertime. I mean, that's literally if I had one way to catch them the rest of my life, that's what it would be. And I know it's early, and they typically don't get out there till May. Second, third week of May. But this year, with the weather we've had, it just kind of set up perfect. It really did. I knew that they were on their way out. I didn't know if I was going to be lucky enough for them to be out good enough for me to catch them. I really thought that I might have to kind of catch one or two out deep and then catch the rest up shallow. But we went Tuesday and we idled. We fished out of the same boat, me and Logan, and we idled for about 5 hours that evening, and we found 3 schools of fish. They were all on community hole stuff. I checked a bunch of the stuff that I typically fish that's a little bit sneakier, and there wasn't nothing on it, and they were only on the community holes. And I told Logan, I'm like, man, like Thursday, Friday, I think we're gonna have to swap it up. Like it's just not looking like it's gonna work out. And Thursday, he actually couldn't go Thursday. I just went by myself and found a decent shad spawn. And there was a lot of fish feeding on a shad spawn, a lot of little ones, a couple good ones here and there. And then I went and idled for about 7 hours again. I never cut my motor off for 7 hours
Mm.
and looked around. And I actually rechecked a lot of the places that I had checked on Tuesday. And my best hole on the whole lake, one of them, was loaded. And I was like, "Uh-oh."
And they
And
weren't
I
there
text
a couple
Logan.
days before.
Yeah, I text Logan immediately, and I'm like, "Uh-oh." And he's like, "What?" And I said, "They're there." And he's like, "You're joking." And I'm like, "No, I'm not, I swear." And then so Friday, we both went in separate boats and we idled everything. I mean, we both idled all day long and found honestly not that much. I mean, there just wasn't a whole lot of fish out there. But there was a couple sneaky places that had them, and there was some community hole stuff that had them. So when it rolled in the tournament, I was like, I think we got enough out there. If we can get one good bite on a shad spawn, I think we can catch the rest offshore. And so that's kinda how practice went.
It was your shad spawn like a river based stuff, or were you up in creeks, or what kind of stuff were you looking at in there?
Yeah, it was on the river.
It was.
I looked for some stuff back, in some pockets and off the main river, and I just never really got anything going. There's a lot of smaller fish, smaller caliber fish, not gonna win you the tournament, but feeding on a shad spawn, I found one place that I caught a couple 3-pounders and one 4-pounder on a shad spawn, and that was really the only, like, halfway decent shad spawn that I found. Now, I'm not a very experienced shad spawn fisherman. I've never done great on a shad spawn at Guntersville, to be honest with you. Wheeler and Pickwick, I've caught them great on. Guntersville, I really haven't. So I didn't expect to light the world on fire with that. But I knew that when I found that one spot, I was like, we're going to fish. We're going to start there and fish it until let our deep fish set up. Because when they're offshore like that, they typically don't get set up great until, at least 9:30, 10 o'clock in the mornings when they really get set up good.
Mhm. Mm. So you did catch one of the ones you weighed on the shad spawn though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So when we blasted off, they got us out of there pretty quick. They started blast off earlier than expected. And so we got out there a whole lot earlier. And I told Logan, we were fishing out of his boat. And I said, man, take me to that shad spawn. I was like, let's just go see if we can get a bonus fish. And man, my first bite of the day, or maybe it's my second bite. It was one of my first couple bites, was a 5.5, 5 3/4. And I looked at him and I'm like, dude, like, because me and Logan, the tournaments that we fished in the past where we've come close, like last year, we didn't have anything to start on early until our deep fish got set up. So we pretty much wasted 4 or 5 hours of the morning just hoping that they were set up, and they never were. So we knew how big it was to have one that we could weigh in before 7 o'clock. right there. And then we finished out our limit of about 18 or 19 pounds. I think it was like 17 or 18 pounds on that shad spawn with one good one. And then we went and started running our schools. We started heading down the lake and rode by a kind of community hole, to be honest with you. And there was just nobody on it. And it's one of those places that you just can't drive past it and not stop if there's not a boat on it.
Sure.
And so we wheeled in there, and man, they were on it. And hit Logan's first bite of the day was a 712. And so at that point in time, it was 7:30 in the morning, and we had 22 and a half with three evens that I had caught on a shad spawn. So we had almost 8 and almost 6 and like 3 just 3-pounders. And I knew right then, we both looked at each other, and he kind of smiled at me, and I was like, dude, I said, we can win this tournament. If we make good decisions, we can win. Just because you got so much room to grow. You got 3-pounders in the box before 8 o'clock. You already got almost 23. Like, you got a lot of room to grow.
Oh yeah, and a 7. I mean, or almost 8. So, so you rolled on around and bounced around and managed to scratch out. What'd you have? 27.6 or something like that?
27.6. We just kind of after we left there, we worked our way through our schools, and when we left there, we stopped at another place, and Logan caught a 4 even, caught a 3 that gave us 23 and a half, 23 and 3/4, and then we went to another place and called 2 times and got to 25 and a half or 20 or 26, and then we still had one small one in there. And I say small, I think it was like a 390. And we fished a couple schools, and it was about 1:30 in the evening. And when I set the hook, and I was like, this is her. And I caught a 550 at about 1:30, which gave us like a pound and a half. And we got to 27 and a half. And we pretty much, I told Logan, I was like, let's not risk anything with me and boat problems and stuff not going my way. I was like, we got to get back to the ramp as soon as we possibly can. So that way, if something were to happen, we can walk our fish up there. I don't want to risk anything. And I didn't know that we were going to win. It's not like I was that confident. I just knew that time of the year that we had a really good shot.
I mean, Jason Whitehead and Matt Adams were about a pound behind you. I mean,
they were about a pound behind us. And I knew when we got up there, I was like, oh my word, it's early in the weigh-in, and it's already taken 26 something, there was a couple teams that I was really worried about that just always smash them that time of the year, and Matt Adams is one of them. I've got to know him pretty well. He's a super good guy, and a great fisherman. But when I seen the scales lock and we beat him, I was like, man, that's one hammer out of the way. Now we got about 60 more left, because we were actually in a later flight, which worked out in our favor. We didn't have to hang around, the weigh-in for that long to find out if we won. So it didn't take too long for us to figure it out.
So you spent 15 hours idling and never even fished them, and then just went to them. And so were you crankbaiting, or what did you really do your most damage with?
Yeah, really, it was kind of just junk fishing, to be honest. I mean, I weighed in that one big one on a shad spawn on a spinnerbait. I caught a small limit on a spinnerbait right there. And then when we went out deep, Logan, I was on the back deck, kind of staying out of his way. He was scoping a good bit with a minnow and stuff like that. And I would bomb around a 10XD, and man, I bet you I caught 30 fish on a 10XD. And they were all just solid fish. And but I think the biggest one I weighed in was on a spinnerbait, and the second biggest one I weighed in was on a bullworm, like a big old trick worm style bait.
Yeah.
And I think I weighed in one on a crankbait, one on a 10XD, and I think he weighed in 2 of his on a minnow. So it's kind of a little bit of everything. I would say most of the numbers come on a 10XD. But for whatever reason, the really big ones that we caught were just very lethargic. And I know they had just got out there, but I don't know if it had anything to do with that storm blowing through the night before, the lightning and stuff. That can affect them a good bit. But the big ones just really didn't want to seem to chase anything or be too aggressive. So we kind of had to slow down, and I think that's why that worm bite really was good, because you just kind of sit it right down there in front of your face. You can wind that crankbait through a school, and most of the time they'll go crazy over it, and they just really wasn't even reacting to it. We had a couple schools of some smaller ones we knew we could go catch maybe 20 pounds off of, and they were firing, but those were true giants, like the 7 and the couple, like almost 6 we weighed in, they were very, very lethargic, so we had to slow down and kinda fish slow for them.
I don't know what it is about that big shaky head type worm right there post spawn when they first get out, but they definitely there's something about that they like. But and
For
like you said,
sure.
they're kind of lazy. So, man, I'll
Yep.
tell you, I hadn't really been. I went Sunday afternoon for just a little bit, and I did a little bit of what you're talking about. I tried fishing the grass a little, and this was on the lower end. It was kind of slimy where I was, and I wasn't that impressed. And I went idling around. I found one little group of fish, and the only thing I had tied on to fish that was a crankbait, and I threw it at them for a minute, and they wouldn't bite. They'd probably had their brains beat out the day before because it was a community hole type deal, and I was too lazy to tie anything else on because I was just goofing off. So I just kept rolling. But what really blew my mind is on April the whatever Sunday was, the 26th or what is that? Yeah, 26th. The water was
Mhm.
79.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hot for this early.
It really is, and that's what I was kinda worried about, 'cause I really wanted to win this tournament. Like I said, I really enjoy fishing it. It's well ran, it's for a great cause, and we got close last year, and I was just, like, dying to be in contention to win again, and typically for me, when I do best, it's offshore fishing, especially on Lake Guntersville. That's just when I typically do the best, and I was really worried, like you said. I was like, "Man, it's April, like, it's just too early for him to be out there," but when I put the boat in the water that first morning I went out there and I seen the water temp was in, like, the mid-70s
At
at
daylight.
7 in the morning,
Yeah.
I was like, "Man, they might be," and I went and I looked for some bed fish because I thought I might have to catch some sight fishing. I told Logan, I was like, "We might be able to catch, 2 sight fishing and maybe 3 out there," but when I went sight fishing, I seen, like, nothing but empty beds, and I was like, "Huh, that's weird." In April, there's just empty most of the time, they're laying everywhere, but it just got so hot so fast, I think they were kinda forced to, do their deal pretty quick and kinda move offshore. So, I was blown away as well. I didn't expect it to go that way.
But, well, that's that's pretty good information. But uh, let me ask you this: you've traveled and you've fished opens and stuff like that, and I'm guilty of not doing this. But like you're talking about how much you went idling and stuff like that. When you go to a lot of these other lakes where it's offshore, whether it's 6 foot or 25 foot, do you spend more time idling in practice than you do fishing? A lot of time.
100%. 100%. I bet you between me and Logan both, um, the week before the tournament, we spent, and I mean, it's not like we went out there every day, but when we went out there, like my girlfriend Tegan, she asked me, she's like, how's practice going, or whatever. And I said, I don't know. I mean, I ain't even caught one because I didn't even fish. I mean, I looked and looked and looked. I bet we idled 20 hours and, 3 days
And
of looking
found, what,
around.
4 groups of fish doing that? I mean
Yep. Like, yeah, it wasn't like they were everywhere. I mean, that's why it took so long. But when I travel and I fish opens or anything, and I find out that they're out there, whether it's on brush piles, let's say they're on brush piles, I fish one and I catch one, and then find another one and catch another one, and I kind of like catch. I always say one, it's a fluke, two might be, three's not. So when
uh-huh.
I catch that third one, I'll just put her in neutral or put her in forward, and I'll just go. I mean, for hours. And I typically, the way I break it down is if I ever leave a section of the lake, I'll stop and check, because you just never know. But in that area, I typically idle every square inch of it that I can and never make another cast until the tournament, because a lot of people believe in shaking fish off, but I just believe in not showing it to them until game day, because the first time they see it, they're going to bite it. You shake them off and they've seen a bait. It could be different, a different bait, and they still are kind of educated. With scope these days, they get so smart. I just try to not show them anything until it's game time.
Interesting. I've always wondered, I mean, you hear about that, and when you don't fish a whole lot, it's hard to go spend a half a day idling. But I mean, honestly, on Guntersville, the way it sets up with the eelgrass and stuff like that, sometimes you'd be better off to just go out there and idle the edges of the grass till you start seeing groups of fish. Versus
For
putting your trolling
sure,
motor down. I mean,
for sure. And the guy that I grew up fishing with, I took him a couple times because he wanted me to help him learn to fish out deep. And the first time I took him, we idled and idled and idled. And he was like, "Man, you're gonna have to stop and let me fish. I can't. I didn't come out here to do this." And I was like, "Well, this is what you got to do. Like you can't compete with these guys that are that good offshore. You've got to put in the time to do it." And that's one of the reasons why I think I love it, is because it's hard. I mean, it takes time. You can't just go out there and just drop the trolling motor on a point, and catch them. You've gotta spend a lot of time doing it, and I'm just a firm believer that if I spend more time than the other guy idling, I've got the upper hand, and it's definitely not my fishing ability, so sometimes I think it might need time or patience,
it's
sitting in the
not your
driver's
luck
seat
either. So
and idling.
definitely not your luck either. So I mean, but
For sure, and I mean, and again, I think it's easy for me just because that's what I love to do. That is my favorite way in the world to catch them. So if I do find one school, I know there's not just one school out there, and I will gladly sit in that seat and play me some music, and I will idle until dark to find one more school. Like, that's just the way that I love to fish. It would be just like throwing a spinnerbait on a shad spawn. You'll do it all day if you could.
oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh, that's how I am with fishing offshore.
Right. Just put in that time. Put in that time. So, well, what's next, Trey?
I've got the ABT at Wheeler Lake. I love it. I love how I retired from bass fishing, but yet I'm catching them better this year than I ever have. Me and Sam George are fishing the ABTs. Excuse me, but we're fishing the ABT North Division this year, and we've had a pretty good year. I think we're 10th in angler of the year with 2 to go. Um, and I can be a choke job, so don't look at the results and tell me that I said I was going to, because I'm not telling you that I am, but I'm saying we got a chance in angler of the year. So after we get back from the beach, I'm gonna head straight to Wheeler and put in a little bit of time there and hopefully have a good event. That is my buddy Sam's home lake. So hopefully we don't need my advice on Wheeler, because Wheeler's not been great to me in the past, but it has been good to him. So, but yeah, we're gonna spend some time over there for Wheeler, and then I've got the Toyota Series on Eufaula, or at Eufaula in Alabama next. So
Well, the good news is, at least for Wheeler, it's rained 3 inches in the last 2 days, so maybe there'll be a little more water in the pond. Because I was over in Decatur working the other day, and it's still pretty low. Because normally, it's normally full by April 15th, but it was still pretty low. And then I had talked to one of the TVA guys not long ago, and he's like, "Dude, we're begging for water right now." And I mean, it's just been that dry. So, but all
for
the creeks
sure,
are muddy and running, so it'll help a little.
yeah, for sure. That's what I had talked to a couple, or to Sam and another buddy of mine that lives over there at Wheeler, and they both said the same thing. They said, if we don't get no rain, it's going to be bad. And so ever since both of them told me that, I've been doing rain dances every morning and every evening. So y'all can thank me for the rain, because I'm like, I do not need Wheeler to be bad. I need it to be good. So when I seen it was raining, oh, we drove down to the beach yesterday and it rained the whole way. And I'm like, yes, please just keep it keep it coming, because we need it.
Oh, we definitely have. It's a little inconvenient when it rains 3 inches in 2 days. It kind of slows some things down, but it's definitely needed. So, and Trey, I don't know if you know this or not. I know you've played in a lot of these over the last several years, but um, Jacob Bice, I believe, had been running a Tuesday nighter, out of all reds forever, and he's got, I think he said he's having back surgery or something, but he's not going to be able to do it. But another kid had Cooper Lively has started one up. When you get ready to come pick on those guys, they're running those Tuesday nighters again out of all reds, and then there's a guy doing a no scope single big fish tournament out of Browns Creek on Saturday afternoons. It's pretty cheap. It's just a fun deal. A little complicated, I think, sometimes trying to figure out the best way to handle the no scope thing. What you move, what you have to take off, what you don't. I don't know. He's been playing with different things there. And then another guy's starting up a Sunday afternoon one, which might be good, something you'd be interested in too.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do it the first and last Sundays of each month. I think it's $40 plus a $20 big fish, something like that. But it's 4 or 5 hours Sunday afternoon. Because the other guy that had been running those Sunday tournaments forever, he had family obligation things got in the way this year. But it looked like there
Yeah.
wasn't going to be any wildcats to fish, but there are a few picking back up. So, and they may even let somebody like Trey Swindle in them. I don't know.
Also, I forgot to toss in there one of the cool things about the Castin and Catchin too, and for anybody looking maybe interested in fishing it next year is it's a qualifier for the Ultimate Angler
That's right.
Championship on Guntersville for $500,000. I got picked on a little bit, got bullied around by some guys last year because they said I qualified on some bull crap to get in it. But guess what? This year I did not. I won the Casting and Catching, so I'm gonna be in it again. And I'm looking forward to that one. For $500,000 on my home lake. That's gonna be fun, and just for the opportunity, for guys that don't get to fish the opens or for the Toyotas or they don't have the time to do any of that. You can jump in the Casting and Catching next year and support that cause, and also have a chance at fishing for $500,000 on Guntersville, that fall. So it's a cool deal. I was super excited for that as well. So
you and Logan both
weekend.
are in, right?
Yeah, we both qualified. They took the two winners. So both the guys of the winning boat got in, and last year the winners wasn't signed up last year, and neither was second, because there was a tie for first, and me and Logan finished third. So we would have got in there last year, but neither one of us had signed up yet. And so this year we did not risk it. We signed up and thankfully got the job done. So me and Logan will both be in it, which will be cool for me and Logan. I graduated with him. He's been one of my best friends my entire life. So to win that thing with him and then be able to fish that this fall, and one of us having a chance at $500,000 is awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just who was it? Did Tucker Smith win that last year?
Yeah. Tucker Smith won, and I thought Tucker Smith was going to get us again. I thought he was going to break my heart Saturday.
He was
right
with
there
Jordan
at the
Lee.
last minute weighing in. I was like, "Oh Lord, don't do this to me again." But yeah, he won it last year, and man, that's life-changing money.
Oh, Jacob Wall was second and won, what, 100 and grand? I mean, some stupid amount of money. I mean, it
Yep.
was. I mean, yeah, it's. Glad you made it in that. That'll be good. Give me a reason to keep up with it. It's. I don't do a lot of fall fishing. I like to chase furry things, but that'll be. But I mean, like, if how do you not fish that? I mean, it's. You don't even. I mean, you don't have to be Jacob Wall or Tucker Smith to get in that. You just got to pay you $500 and qualify in the right event.
Yeah,
so.
and that's what I think's so cool about it is it gives guys that work a full-time job and have a family that can't afford or not really can't afford it, but they just don't have the time to travel and fish. You can fish, and I think the Foodland in 2 weeks is a qualifier. I think so. You can fish a couple benefit tournaments at Guntersville that are qualifiers to pay your entry fee, and you could have a chance at winning $500,000. I think that's a really cool deal, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Are you fishing the Foodland?
So I'm gonna announce this on live. I haven't told my buddy Logan this yet. I just remembered that I signed up for this. But I'm actually going to be doing the live coverage for the ABT at Logan Martin Lake that day. I was signed up for it, me and my buddy Logan, to fish it as well. But I forgot I had already told Kay before we signed up that I would do the live coverage. And part of me says I ought to go fish it because I think I can win it. But again, my stat sheet shows me that I've won one in 26 years. I better just go do the live coverage
because
I really enjoy that. I enjoy that just as much as I do fishing. So I'm going to go over there and work and get to cut up with my buddy Luke and maybe Logan.
So you're not replacing Luke this time.
Partners.
You're not replacing Luke this time. You're not taking his spot.
I'm not replacing Luke. I'm replacing Darian this time. So now I get to give Luke Duncan crap on live in front of everybody, which I can't turn down the opportunity.
I feel bad for Miss Kay to have to try to chaperone you two fools when you get together.
I told her, I said, you do realize what you're signing yourself up for, and she was like, I don't even want to talk about it. Just tell me if you can do it or you can't. I'm like, I think I can do it.
She's desperate. You did a good enough job on the first one that you get to do. So is the Logan part of the South? division this year or every year?
No, he's not.
No,
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 me
no,
and
no,
Logan
no.
are.
Logan Martin. I'm sorry. You're going to Logan.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, Logan Martin is the South Division.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
and it's May 16th,
Oh,
on Logan, so, we'll be over there doing the live coverage for it, and, maybe my buddy Logan can, his dad can jump in it and fish with him, and maybe they can take that one home too, that'd be cool.
yeah, yeah. No reason not to give it a try. The weekend after next, this weekend, I think there's a BFL. Next weekend, you've got the Jackson County Rescue Squad tournament out of Goose Pond, which is another good event. It doesn't pay $15,000 by any means, but it's still a good local event that's raising some money for those guys. They've been having it forever. They normally have a good turnout. It's out of Goose Pond as well. So if you're looking for something to fish, check out the Bass and Big G website and check that out. And there'll be details for all these things that we discussed on there. I do know that Foodland's full, but they do have a waiting list. So, there's always something comes up. So if you do want to fish that one, you can go to their website, which is also linked off of there, and find that information. So, Trey, it's time for you to go back and flip over and work on the other side of that 10.
That's right. That's exactly right. I gotta go flip over and tan my back now. I've got a little gas money we could afford to come down the beach, so I'm gonna go soak up the sun and have a good time and maybe even eat crab legs.
Hey, that sounds like a plan. So, well, man, holler at me when you get back from Wheeler, or get back up here and get over on Wheeler, and we'll probably, that'd be about 2 weeks. We'll get you back in here again and see who we can get in here to talk with us that may know more than us by then. So
Absolutely. I know there's a lot of them out there because we don't know much. We just act like we do.
I don't even act like it. I just try to bring in somebody better than me.
I'm just good. My girlfriend jokes around. She says, "You could talk to a brick wall." I'm like, "Well, if you talk with confidence, that's all that matters." So
That's right.
I just keep running my mouth.
That's the reason you should be in sales. Well, I guess you are, because you're kind of selling mortgages these days. So don't forget, if you're looking at buying, refinancing, or whatever, give your boy Trey a holler. He's got a woman that's expecting money from him and various other things. So hook him up. So and he's working for a company that's been around for a long time. It's not like he just flew out of on his own. So he actually has good support. So. But anyway, till next time, enjoy the floating grass.